everybody, welcome back to another episode. Right now in Portland, Oregon, it's 101 degrees and it's going to be 101 tomorrow as well. Pretty unusual for the Pacific Northwest, but I'm trying to get through it. I'm a redhead and so I am sweating right now. I've got a fan blowing on me. It's right behind the camera. I've got my house AC on, but the AC unit's in the garage, so you got that sound going as well. And it also sounds like we've got laundry going on here, so I got some sounds in the garage. Hopefully it's not too terrible and you can bear with me on this one. But I have something pretty fun to share with you, and that is making a center lift out of a scissor jack. And I made one years ago when I was building my hardtail, and this is it right here. What I did is, welded on a top piece, of course, and with some angle iron here, and the angle iron is spaced just wide enough for the frame, for the lower frame of the Sportster. But as you know, or maybe don't know, big twin bikes have a wider frame, and so I want to do some work with a little center stand. And so I thought, hey, what the heck, I'm gonna make one for a big bike, and so I'll have two. So why don't we just walk through that and show you just how cheap it is to make one of these things, and then also show you another one. I'm leaning on some 2x4s right here, and we'll get to that. All right, so we've got our scissor jack on top of the vise here. We're just gonna go ahead and grind off this powder coating so that we can weld a really nice thick flat stock on the top of this thing and give us our base. So let's go ahead and start with that. Let's clamp it on down to the vise, beep, beep, beep. Just like that, and let's get going. All right, we've got this top plate welded on to the top of the jack, and so the next thing I'm going to do is take a couple of pieces of angle iron and weld them on either side of this plate, and I'll make sure to measure the soft tail frame to make sure I can support the whole entire bike and cut them to length. A big twin frame is 10 inches from rail to rail. I'm going to go ahead and make this a foot because I'd like to put another piece of angle iron, kind of like I did with my Sportster lift, at the ends, and so once we do that I can just trim off the excess later. So let's go ahead and measure. Oh wow, that's ready to go. Let's measure 1 foot here, and we'll cut a couple of these. Alright, so the angle iron is cut. We're just going to go ahead and put those right on top of this platform that we've already welded on, and we're just going to make sure that they are roughly the same width on each side of the platform, so as much hanging off on this side as there is this side, just so it's an even balance and that the lift will lift the bike evenly. And it looks pretty good right there. I'm going to go ahead and do a little registration mark here, and that will give me an idea where to weld. Alright, we just tacked the 2 pieces of angle iron, and they look great, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish weld those on. Alright everybody, this looks great. It's fully welded inside both these angle iron channels, and that's going to be really sturdy. I'm going to go ahead and put another piece of angle iron just on the edge here once I determine where the frame actually is. Well, you know, I was just thinking about this little notch right here, or this step up I should say, could make it to where it only raises one side, not the other. I may instead, ooh, that's even a better idea. I'm going to have it go like this. Okay, cool. All right, I've got my 2 end pieces cut. So let's go ahead and just knock off a couple of dog ears here, and then we'll throw it in the grinder and kind of make them look smooth before we weld them on. So we're on the home stretch here. I went ahead and beveled these as well because, you know, if you have your bike lifted up, you don't want to drag your knuckles against this lift if you're working underneath there. I actually beveled both sides of these as well, or rounded them. That way when it's hanging off the edge like this, you won't have a sharp edge. Oops. You won't have a sharp edge as well. So let's go ahead and weld these guys on the ends right about, say, there. I'm just going to tack them in place, and then I'll shove it under the bike and just see if I've got enough clearance. If not, we'll move them. All right, so we've got the ends welded on. Well, they're not welded on, they're tacked on, but I just checked it with the bike, and it seems to work out just fine. I'm going to check it one more time once I get this next piece done. This little turnbuckle thing that comes with the jack with a long, here it is right here, a little long thing that goes in here, and then you kind of twist it around and everything. You can go ahead and use that. I mean, it comes with it, so it's free. However, if you've got a junky socket that's a 1/2 inch drive, we're going to go ahead and cut this piece off. We're going to weld this socket on so that you have the 1/2 inch drive adapter on the end. Then I'll be able to stick in my 1/2 inch drive impact and raise and lower this thing with no problemo. Alright, well here it is underneath the bike. Still need to do some finish welding on those end caps, but it totally lifted my Softail and the tire is free off the ground. I can spin it right now. Alright, and there you have it. Pretty simple. 30 bucks and some scrap iron laying around your garage. You could have one of these guys. And you can use a regular drill with a step down and a 1/2 inch extension. And check this out. Power lift, and if you had something really heavy on there, you can grab your impact and stick that on. Pretty fun. Well, that one's done, and I am hot. So I have yet another lift for you, and you saw that lumber. I'm going to do that next. Gonna take a break, and then we'll be right back. Okay, for this next lift, just a basic wooden lift, we're gonna need 4 1-foot long sections and then a 6-inch section. And then we'll drill them and we'll bolt it together and I'll show you how it works. But let's go ahead and get this going here. We've got 1-footer. We're gonna do 4 of these. So why not use a handsaw at 100-degree weather? Why not? Yeah, seems fine. Seems like the right way to do it. All right, got those 4 cut off. Now we need 1 6-inch. Okay, now what I'm left with on this one is like 4 foot 2 inches. Typically, like in the past, I've used like a 6-footer for this last piece, and it's basically like the leverage bar. 4 feet is pretty good. But if it's not, well, then we can get a longer piece. And you're probably catching on to what we're doing with this thing. All right, so now you've got your wood cut, and you've got all 5 pieces here. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill 3 holes through these 4 pieces, staggered just like this. And then you're going to put your end cap on the end like this. So let's go ahead and drill 3 holes that I'm going to put these carriage bolts in. And you don't want any washers on this one because you want these nuts to sink in to the wood so that it's flush. You're really going to put them in like with an impact, and then you're going to cut the remainder of this bolt off. That way there's the carriage head will sink in to the wood, and the nut will as well, and then you'll cut the bolt. I gotta drill this last one here because my drill bit wasn't long enough. Perfect. Making progress. And making mistakes, and that's okay. So here is my lumber, and I've got it all orientated the right way. That way I'm not flipping stuff, and I'm not gonna go like this again. So now I've got them all numbered and facing the right way. And I've hogged these holes out I don't know how many times, and then I realized that I need some spacers in between the wood. Let's put the spacers in. Got this just propped up on the vise so that the bolts won't fall out. And I'm just gonna put 2 washers per course. And I'm hoping that, oops, that's gonna be enough space that I'm gonna need to kind of space these guys out. Let's see, I got 3 next, so let's see if we can keep this all organized this time. Oh, see, I've already spun it around. Oh, geez Louise. Okay, well, there you go. You would have thought that the welding scissor lift project would have been harder than messing with wood, but believe me, well, you don't even have to take my word for it. You're looking right at it. I'm not a carpenter, so I'm just, I'm winging it. How about that? I've got all the spacers, all the washers in there, and they're spaced out really nice. If we can go ahead and zap on all of these little nuts on here, and then we'll throw an impact on it and hopefully sink these nuts down into the wood. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So we're gonna give that a shot right now. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to blast it. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Let's try the next one. Oh, right on. Very cool. We've got those nuts totally just sucked right in there. Totally cool. The carriage bolts, they're good enough. I mean, that's going to be fine. All right, instead of trying to balance that top piece on all this other stuff, I went ahead and put it in the vise. And what I'm going to do is just going to go ahead and start 3 of my screws here where I know I need them. Okay, now we can put this on the top and should go a little bit smoother. Right on, that turned out perfect. Well, I mean, it looks perfect. Let's see if it works. Even with those spacers, it's still a little bit too tight for this 2x4. So I'm going to just bevel this just a little bit, just so I can get it into the slot that we made right over there. And maybe what I'll do is I'll flip it and I'll do one on the other side as well, just so I can wedge this thing in easier. All right, the moment of truth. You've all been waiting to see what the hell this thing is. Here's the part that we just made, and here is the lever. We're gonna jam this thing in. As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna hit it with my dead blow here a couple of times to make sure it's in there good. Feels like it's in real good. And now, you could slide it all the way through, but my chopper is pretty low. It's a 2-inch drop on this frame, or on that hardtail, and I've got a 2-inch under springer, so it's a little bit lower than stock. So if you pull your bike towards you, you can kick it underneath there all the way, and then while supporting your bike, just take this lever, make sure it's not going to hit anything else on your bike, and just rotate it. And there it is. Now, it did slide a little bit, so let me just see if I can move my bike a little bit. You know, it seems like it's a little short. Seems like it's a little bit short. If I made these 2x4s longer, it would definitely go all the way to the other side, because right now I feel like it's gonna fall off. Let me try grabbing this thing and getting your head out of the way, man. It'll come up and hit you right in the mouth. There we go. And then make sure to grab your bike. And then my bike's low, so there we go. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know, man. Was that worth it? That was a, well, I mean, it wasn't a lot of work. It's just really hot. So, and I did basically 2 things tonight. So, I'm a little pooped. But, you know, in a pinch, if you don't have a welder and you don't have any money and all you have is some 2x4 and some random hardware laying around, one thing I would suggest is make these sticks here. Make them probably, we made them a foot long. I'd probably make them 2 feet. Why not? Just have them stick way underneath your bike. That way it's not going to tip over or, you know, seem like it's going to fall over. But that will definitely do it. Now I did stick this underneath my Softail, which is stock height, and it just, like, I don't know if it would lift it. It definitely wouldn't lift the back tire like this one just did. So what I would do for a stock bike or a stock height bike is maybe put on another 2x4 up here. Do one on this side, one on that side, and that'll help you out. All right, everybody, I'm smoked. And I hope you guys picked up something from this video. Hopefully you'll try one of these things. You know, the scissor jack, they're cheap. You can find them anywhere really. And a little bit of welding, you can have yourself a center stand, really narrow. And the wooden one, you know, hey man, it's cool in a pinch, super cheap. And it's doable. You just gotta watch that lever. I didn't show it on camera, but the very first time that I tried to put my bike on the ground, it actually swung up and hit me right in the mouth. Oh, fuck me, that just hit me right in the fucking mouth. Oh Christ. I'm surprised I didn't lose a tooth. It actually hit me pretty hard. So use at your own risk. It's just an idea. So, oh, and then look what came in finally. Boop, boop, boop. It's actually more of a smile face. Right on. We're gonna be able to do my exhaust next video. That means putting my bike, my chopper, finally right here on the table where it needs to be. And that process is gonna start. So, I'm excited, I'm tired. It's the weekend, it's 100 and whatever degrees. And I hope that you guys have an awesome week, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Take care.